What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new Hijomeatman news video. Today we're going to be starting off a little mini series, I guess you could say, where we're basically going to be talking about the teams so far. Obviously we've headed into, I guess you could deem it maybe a summer break, 3 weeks off, 2 weeks now, or one and a bit actually, maybe, I'm not even too sure anymore, but it was a 3-week break, obviously, after the Styrian GP, before we head over to the San Marino Grand Prix, the Misano GP over in Italy, and we're basically be talking about the teams, what they've achieved so far. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Yamaha, seeing as they are P1 in the Constructors, so we are going to go in order of how they appear in the Constructors side of things. And yeah, so let's get it off, kick it off with the Yamaha squad. We're going to start off with the riders. We're going to go over the what they've been doing and stuff like that. So kicking it off, obviously we're going to start off with Fabio Quartararo, obviously leading the World Championship, not by a lot anymore. The last couple of rounds have been a struggle for him, but he does sit P1 in the World Championship, obviously with 2 wins, the Jerez Grand Prix and the Andalusian GP. And then obviously that's the only time we've seen him on the rostrum this year. Those opening rounds, very strong for him and for Yamaha in general. But it wasn't to be in the next Grand Prix, but we'll get onto that in a little bit. Then we got Maverick Vinales, P5 in the World Championship, 0 wins and 2 podiums, also from them opening rounds in Spain. That track did seem to suit Yamaha quite nicely, especially Quartararo, who we saw had pretty dominant pace. In both weekends, he did just kind of leave everyone behind and go and take the checkered flag from start to finish. Then we got Valentino Rossi. He sits in P7 in the World Championship. He has 1 podium also in the Andalusian GP. And then Franco Morbidelli, P11 in the World Championship, with 1 podium, obviously, in the Brno Grand Prix. So that's where all the riders sit in the World Championship. Obviously, Yamaha only having 4 riders. Obviously, the Monster Energy team and then the Petronas Racing team. So that's where they all lie in the World Championship. Then we got in the Constructors side of things, Yamaha leading the way, not by a lot, literally 1 point at the moment, but they do lead the way in the Constructors, obviously with 2 wins and 6 podiums in total. So pretty good year for Yamaha. It hasn't been perfect, but we will get onto that in a little bit. But they do sit P1 in the Constructors, which is pretty good for them. And then in the team battles, it's a little bit of a different kind of point system to the Constructors, the team battle championship, but they lead the way there also, P1, P2. We have Petronas leading the way with 102 points, and then we have the factory Monster Energy Yamaha team in 2nd place with 93 points. So I doubt they'll be too impressed that they're losing to their satellite team, but it is what it is. Sometimes it is like that, it is what it is. But that's where everyone lies in the World Championship, the Constructors Championship, and then also the Team Battle Championship. And now, talking about Yamaha itself, you look at these stats, you look at the standings and everything, and the podiums, the wins, you would think that, it's a pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy kind of situation, and everything's going pretty well for them. But obviously, if you have been watching MotoGP, you would know that Yamaha, although they are winning, although they do lead all of the World Championships right now, they could grab the Triple Crown if it was to end right now, which obviously it isn't. But if it was to end right now, they would grab the Triple Crown, and you would have thought, that's pretty good bike, good team. It's probably the bike you'd want to be on. But looking at the season, Yamaha haven't had the easiest time in this 2020 season. Obviously, we have loads of reliability issues at the beginning of the season. Possibly could be fixed now. They hope so anyway. They did lower the revs in the Austrian Grand Prix, and they did take away their appeal to open up the engines and see what was going on. But so I'm just going to assume that they've got that sorted out, but that was definitely a worry at the beginning of the season, obviously, because Maverick Vinales, for example, I do believe he's dipped into all of his engines now. We had Valentino Rossi almost dip into all of them. I mean, all of the riders really, if the Yamaha riders have used various different engines. Obviously, we saw one go pop. Well, I can't remember if it went pop or if it just failed, but we saw Rossi's one fail, and we've seen Franco Morbidelli's one fail also. And, you know, we saw them lower the revs. We saw they struggled a lot in the Austrian Grand Prix, for example. So, you know, it hasn't been the ideal situation for Yamaha, although they might possibly have it all under control now, which is good. But it hasn't been the perfect season for them, really. And then also we did have that brake failure and clutch failure from Maverick Vinales. Obviously the clutch failure in the Austrian Grand Prix, the race 2, right at the beginning. You know, he dipped way down the order. You know, he was just getting swallowed in a straight. And then obviously we did have that brake failure, but I don't really know if we can really blame Yamaha for that one, because the brake suppliers did warn the riders that they were overheating the brakes. Obviously, because they had that massive deficit on the straights, they tried to make it back on the brakes, and well, the brakes literally exploded, and Maverick had to jump off the bike at pretty high speeds, pretty spooky stuff. But luckily for him, all good. And yeah, as for that, you know, Yamaha taking the reliability things away, you know, it's going well. I mean, they're obviously leading every single world championship, so they can't really ask for much more. Obviously, they don't have the perfect bike, and they will probably struggle in some of the Grand Prix throughout this year. I think Misano, they should go pretty well. Obviously, you know, fast flowing corners. There isn't many straights, which is really where they do struggle. I mean, Bruno, we saw the Yamahas struggle. Well, we saw Yamaha struggle. We saw Fabio Quartararo and Vinales struggle with the Michelin. You know, Franco Morbidelli obviously got a podium there, but you know, Austria, for example, we did see Yamahas just nowhere at all. Just absolutely swallowed up in the straights. You know, obviously in the qualifying lap they can be competitive, but when they actually have to race a bike, it's just not happening. They just get wrecked in a straight. But yeah, if they can, for next season, if they can just improve their engine, then Yamaha would be a very serious piece of equipment. Like, you would possibly get spanked by Yamaha if they had a good engine. Obviously, they're very quick through the corners. Probably one of the best bikes, I think. You know, Yamaha and Suzuki are one of the best bikes for cornering and stuff like that. So, in flowing tracks, we will see Yamaha being pretty competitive. But in the ones with the longer straights and that, you know, like Austria, that's when we will see them kind of struggling a little bit and trying to make up time on the brakes and possibly making brakes explode again. I mean, who knows? But yeah, guys, that's the Yamaha little wrap up, just to go over it all again. Fabio Quartararo obviously leading the World Championship, Vinales P5, Rossi in 7th, and Franco Morbidelli in P11. Obviously, Morbidelli has had a little bit of unlucky situations, I guess you could say. Obviously, he had that engine go, and then obviously we had that massive incident with Quartararo in Austria. So he could have got possibly some good points and climb his way up the order, but it's not going too bad. He's getting better. And obviously in the constructors, Yamaha lead the way only by a point, but you know, they're still leading the way. And then obviously in the team battles, we have Petronas and Monster, P1, P2. So it's going pretty well for Yamaha. Obviously, they haven't really won in a while. You know, it's always been Honda talk, but obviously Honda this year are absolutely nowhere. So it does look like it's going to be an interesting battle between Yamaha, Ducati, and even KTM are really close. And Suzuki, if they can, you know, get their act together and be consistent every weekend, we could see a very, very interesting constructors battle this year. But yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. We will be doing another video similar to this one about all the other teams. And next up on the list is Ducati. There's plenty to talk about there. So you guys hopefully enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe for more content as always, and I'll see you with some brand new videos very soon.